Let me introduce myself. My name is Jordan Schanzer, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Flashpricer. I have 15 years of e-commerce SaaS software experience. I started off my career in e-commerce at a company by the name of Informed. Informed is also a repricer. So I was employee number one there and grew that business quite tremendously. I've spoken at many different conferences, including the first Prosper show ever. For those of you guys who haven't heard of the Prosper show, it's a very, very large Amazon seller show with very many vendors. I'd say there were 1,500, 2,000 sellers there, and then maybe hundreds of vendors. And so I spoke on their first repricing panel ever. And that was, I think, back in 2013 or so. So I've been a seller myself as well. So I've been in your shoes. I know the ins and outs of both from the selling perspective and the software perspective. I've also built other types of software in the e-commerce space, inventory, price, and order management systems for e-commerce before I started up Flashpricer. And a little fun fact is, just to date myself and my experience with Walmart specifically, forget all of the Amazon repricing and selling experience, I actually helped the Walmart team build their pricing API. Let's call it 7 or 8 years ago. So I know the limitations of that API because I helped them build it and they weren't very willing to go deep and far with the type of data they're going to be pushing out through it. But also there's some other limitations. And the good thing about me knowing about those limitations is that I was also able to build software that helps you overcome those limitations and, sell more as a result of it on Walmart.com. So today, I know many of you guys are selling on Amazon, and I think adding Walmart as a marketplace to your agenda is a really, really good a good expansion point for any of your businesses. So by the end of this conversation, we're going to have learned a few things. So how Walmart is growing and what the opportunity is, why you should care about that. And, because there's a lot of reasons why, but I'll explain why I think you should be taking it seriously. What the technical barriers are on the Walmart marketplace, with regards to their API and the data that we get out from them that allows us to be successful, and how you can capitalize on those shortfalls that they have in the data, and how you can get ahead yourself, through knowing that these technical barriers exist and through using software to make it better for you. So how Walmart is growing. As I said, about 7 years ago, I started working on the Walmart API over at a different company, Informed, that I was working for before I started up this business. And 7 years ago, there were sellers on Walmart, but like any opportunity, it takes time for things to move and snowball and stuff like that. So nobody really knew exactly where that was going at the time. People were selling, maybe some sellers more successful than others, but nobody was really taking it too seriously, right? We got a bunch of people on board. Some people have since stopped selling on there, back and forth. Again, maybe didn't see the opportunity, right? And maybe the same sort of thing that you might feel from eBay selling, for example, right? Maybe 7, 8 years ago, or even a couple years ago, some of you guys would have wanted to diversify from Amazon and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to do some eBay. eBay stagnated and only ended up being 5 or 10% of what your Amazon sales could ever be. And I think people were still wondering on the Walmart side, could it ever grow to be more than just eBay, right? And I think over the years, Walmart has really been pushing their marketplace and moving forward at a really nice pace. And things are getting much better on the Walmart side. And so the things that I'm noticing on the Walmart side is that there's way fewer restrictions with regards to categories and products being gated and ungated, approval processes, infringement complaints. There's a whole slew of things that you guys are dealing with on a regular basis on Amazon. I know, I was there. I've been there. Like I said, I've sold 80 million, on Amazon and Walmart over the years. I know what it looks like to be a seller. And, 5, 6, 7 years ago, a lot less red tape. Now it's getting a little bit more difficult. Fees here, this, that, FBA, send it to this locate, right? We don't have to talk about all those things. You guys all know it. Even the new sellers are going to learn that very quickly. Unfortunately, still they have a big portion of the sales, and then obviously the opportunity for Amazon is great, right? But so I think Walmart's about 5-6 years behind Amazon with regards to the red tape sort of things. But with regards to sales, I noticed that my sellers are able to accomplish 20 to 30% of what they're able to do on Amazon, and so that's maybe not a huge number yet, but it's growing, and it's growing really nicely year over year. And I think we're almost like 2 to 3 years behind with regards to sales. Of course, sales on Amazon will continue to grow. But if you do things right this year, I don't think that, hitting like 20, 30% of your revenue that you're doing on Amazon on the Walmart side is something that's outrageous. And, if you have a game plan, you'll be able to attain that. So let's get into some of like just the raw numbers. I'll go through these pretty quickly because you could probably find them out online. But some things that might shock you is like there's 23% growth since 2022 on Walmart with regards to their sales, third-party sales, Walmart Marketplace. 120 million, unique visitors to Walmart each month, of which 85% of those are actually making a purchase. And there's 150,000 third-party sellers on Walmart US. Now, 150,000 sounds like a big number. Maybe, to anybody in this room, it sounds like a big number to me, but does anybody here know the number of sellers on Amazon US? It's a little bit less than that. So yeah, and there might be 3 million globally, but Amazon US is in the 1.2 to 1.5 million range, somewhere like that, right? So we're talking only about 10% of the sellers have actually already moved on to Walmart, and that's if they're still selling on Amazon and haven't been suspended over there or never sold there, not likely, but other things. But this is an opportunity, right? That we are in early innings. They have to increase their sellers by a lot in order for you guys to have a lot more competition over there. So getting your feet wet and getting in early is an important factor. And I've been watching this opportunity again for the past 7 years. Like every year, more sellers are catching on and coming on board and stuff like that. It's really important to get in at quickly, right? As soon as you can physically do it or have your team members look into the opportunity and start learning Seller Center, start poking around. It's not so difficult. The user interface is really, really nice. Again, the seller support over there is attentive. They are happy to have new sellers on board, again, because they're not just opening it up to everybody. It's a slower sort of process to get involved. There is some hand-holding. You'll get emails from people, the sales reps, asking you to add your first listing and figure things out. Here's how we can help you with PPC or anything that you need, right? And if you send in a piece of mail to seller support, you'll get a real response. It's not going to be some canned something. And if it is a canned response, you can say, no, that's not what I was saying. Read that again. And then the next answer is going to be a correct and complete answer. And so why should you care about all this, right? So we talked a little bit before about some of the reasons why Walmart is expanding and growing. But, by a show of hands, I have to assume most of you guys are selling on Amazon. So by a show of hands, how many are selling on Amazon? So 99.9. And how many are selling on Walmart? Wow. Okay, great. So I was not expecting that. But in theory and in general, and maybe that's just because you guys wanted to learn more about Walmart, so that's good. But I thought there would be a lot more people, more sellers in here who had not even looked at the opportunity yet and don't have an idea, right? But, basically the thing here is that we know Walmart's important. We know the sales are there. How do we attain more of them? And for me, it was always a diversification piece, right? When I was selling a lot on these channels, I was always thinking about what happens. I'm building this big business and I built it over the course of many years. And it's like any business. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes hard work and building out teams. And maybe you end up with a small warehouse or a large one, depending if you're doing FBA or merchant fulfilled. Maybe you have a 3PL. Maybe you have virtual assistants and people start relying on you, not just your family members for the income and the steady stream and whatever it may be, but other people's jobs and stuff like that. And you build up this entire thing. And it's one of the only businesses that you really build over the course of 2, 3. I noticed that it takes me 2 to 3 years to build any business to anything substantial, right? And then most businesses, you're kind of in control of what happens next. If you work hard and there's product market fit and all the rest, here you can work hard, do well, build out this entire big, long business or whatever, and then get hit with a few IP complaints and whatever it may be, and somebody pulls a rug on you. And that somebody is usually Amazon. So for me, I cannot stress, and I'm so happy to see all these hands in the room saying, I already have a Walmart account. That makes me happy. Not to scare you. I hope nobody ever gets suspended here, all those. But I've been in the business for a while, and I just see sellers getting suspended all the time. They got suspended. Why'd you unsub? I thought you were happy with the suspended. Does that and the other reason, and they're not doing anything wrong. They just have to work through the process. And that process sometimes takes time. And if the faster and the better you could build up your Walmart business, the better diversified you are. And you could keep your business afloat while you're working on the suspension and get back on board. Same in the other direction, of course. So another reason is different marketplaces dictate different prices. As I said, I've built another piece of software in between when I left Informed and started building Flashpricer. That was online arbitrage dropshipping software for inventory, price, and order management systems. Through that system, by year 3, we were doing about 500 million in sales between Amazon and Walmart dropshipping and Walmart and Amazon dropshipping. So in either direction, it was about 500 million in sales. And so when we talk about dictating different prices on different marketplaces, that's a real thing. And that's something that you guys already know as arbitrage sellers. And you're buying in retail. A lot of your products you're buying in retail, and you realize that there's a big markup in between, on either side. And so that discrepancy also is there in between Amazon and Walmart marketplaces. And so the different marketplaces are dictating a higher price in one marketplace on the other to the tune of sometimes 20 to 40%, right? Because in order for the drop shippers to make money, they have to cover the 15% fee on either side. Plus they were making, between 10 and 25% margins. So, so just do the math. So prices in either place are different, higher, whatever it is. Things that might go stale on Amazon, you could bring over to Walmart and dictate higher prices. Things that don't sell on Amazon might sell on Amazon, on Walmart, and vice versa. So that's something great to note. And also you're just opening yourself up to a completely different pool of buyers, of course. So like I always say, the people who you're expecting to buy from you, a lot of them are not price comparison shoppers. I mean, like if they were, then they would just go straight to the retailers that you guys are going to and spend the time and go get it themselves, right? They're not price comparison shopping. They either open up the Walmart app or they open up the Amazon app in the morning. They need the thing. It's coming soon. Okay, click buy, right? That's how we're all in business. It's very important to get in there, get set up quickly and efficiently, get your ratings in place. Because like I said, I only think we're 2 to 3 years behind in terms of sales if you actually put the focus and effort into the opportunity. Next, it's a higher barrier to entry on Walmart. And that was going to be one of my selling points for you guys to go open up your Walmart accounts, because that selective seller approval process, it's not just like anybody can go onto the marketplace today and open up a store, and later today you're going to have a store like it happens on Amazon. There's a much more selective process, but that's to your guys' advantage, and to anybody who is in this room who doesn't already have a Walmart store, go and get your Walmart store, because you have an Amazon store. I already saw that by a show of hands. That will help you dramatically in the approval process. A lot of people who want to just go sell on Walmart without having an Amazon store are at a big disadvantage, and that gives you guys a leg up on them. So that's a big deal for you. So since it's more selective, it is a big opportunity, again, to get in early so that you have less competition. But, and that comes with a big but, since it's more selective, and now we're talking about people who have Amazon stores and have Shopify stores and have all these other stores, the type of seller that's on there is a little bit more experienced. And these sellers will oftentimes know that it's important to leverage softwares and tools to get to the next level. Because people can only do a certain amount of things. Even virtual assistants get expensive, and they can't do as much as softwares and tools and automation can do over time. And the sooner you realize that, the more successful you'll be on either platform, on Amazon and on Walmart. And we'll continue to explain why that is soon enough. So to summarize the Walmart potential, we're talking about higher price potential, marketplace specific loyalty. So people, only buying in specific places, less competition, and high growth sales opportunities, diversification in the worst case scenario. And then there's one last point that I didn't really talk about, and that's Walmart fulfillment services. So I don't know how many of you guys are doing FBM versus FBA versus, having your own fulfillment center or using a 3PL. But I can tell you this, we all know that Amazon's fees are going up, low inventory fees, high inventory fees, and, send this piece of product to West Coast, even though I'm on the East Coast, etc. Right? I compared a few products just recently, and besides for all the promotions and stuff that they have going on for their sellers now, they have commission adjustment program, is a cap program on Walmart, which is really nice. That's ongoing. They're also doing like reduced fees for new sellers and just like a whole slew of different things to make you feel comfortable and get cozy with them. But I'm finding WFS fees to be really, really economical. WFS is exactly like FBA. You send your products in bulk to one of Walmart's fulfillment centers, and they pick, pack, and ship the products for you. They get it there in 2 days or less, much like Amazon does. But I compared one product. It was a small Lego roses set. Small anyway. USPS, it could ship for, FBM was like $4.88 on the package. That gets to the client 3 to 5 days later. So they beat you. It's $4.88 for your own FBM. On Amazon, that same product was $4.15. And on WFS, it was $3.45. So just the difference between the WFS fee and the Amazon fee is like 17% less. That's real money, 17%. I mean, like if you're not talking about dollars, right? Like in terms of dollars, it's $1, right? And that might mean something on certain products or not, but $1 more on a product that you're making $2 profit on, 30%. You can make 30% more or 50% more. Just by saving on the fees. And then of course, like it gets there faster and you don't have to have somebody in your warehouse pick, pack, and ship it. Unless that's you, in which case you don't have to go ahead and do that. Also good. And by the way, if it's not you, I've run warehouses before, and like I think, it's like close to $2 a box between like your overhead and like the packaging materials and picking things up. It just makes sense. If you see things that are selling well in FBM on Walmart, send it into WFS right away. So what can you do to capitalize? So stop flying blind. That's sort of our motto at Flashpricer, and why can't other repricers or softwares work with Walmart as well? And so like, there's a few reasons. Maybe they're less years in the space. Maybe they don't know or see the opportunity as well as I do. I've been watching it really, really closely over the course of many years. And I love it as a diversification. And I love that you're getting in at the ground level. And when I started on Amazon, it was probably like 10 years ago. I think that you're still even now getting in on the ground level of Walmart side. Start building your reviews, start building your store. And if in 3-4 years from now, you're at where you're at with your Amazon sales today, you're going to be very happy because your Amazon sales are going to be even further. And you're going to be right up there and having something that's going to be competing nicely, especially with all the investments that they're making in their marketplace. So again, why aren't other softwares supporting Walmart the same way? Either they are looking at the 1.2 or 1.5 million sellers on Amazon. They're like, okay, cool. There's still like a big opportunity here for me on the Amazon side. I don't really feel like worrying about or looking at the Walmart side right now. Like, my business is humming here. Or they had a look at the Walmart APIs and the technology and are like, okay, well, the amount of dollars in R&D that I'm going to have to do in order to like actually make this work the right way is also not worth it to me, / I might not know how to do it. I have a bit of an advantage there with regards to like obtaining information outside of the marketplace's APIs from my online arbitrage dropshipping business and supporting all the sellers and like getting information off of all the retailers. So with regards to price and availability, and I've worked all of that information into our software in order to capitalize on that. And so maybe these other softwares on the market don't know how to do that. And I think it's going to take them a very, very long time, to the tune of like 5 to 7 years, for them to figure out what I have going on today. So the short and long of it is that the information coming out of the APIs is wrong about 40% of the time. And what we're looking for is anytime a buy box owner changes or somebody comes on or off the listing, we're supposed to get a notification from Walmart. And we've also noticed that not only is the information wrong 60% of the time, there's another 50 to 60% of the time when we're supposed to get a notification that something has changed and they don't send it at all. So those are two big sort of problems that we end up solving for, right? So here's how we solve for them. And I'm going to compare myself to some of the other repricers in the space, and some of this stuff will be applicable to Amazon and Walmart, and most of it will be Walmart specific. So fast price changes, dynamic price changes, real time, not throttled. Throttling means that they set different plan prices on the repricers that say, okay, only every 15 minutes I'm going to go check for a price change or a notification or something like that. And if you want me to do it instantly, like Flashpricer is doing it, you're going to have to go onto a higher plan, which then ends up being more expensive than us. So we do it fast. If you stop by our booth, I'll show you how fast I can get price changes into the marketplace real time live, even on the shitty internet here. Sorry. but yeah, it's fast. Like Walmart price changes like sub 3 seconds or something like that. From the second that we realize that there's something has changed, we ingest the information in less than a second. We calculate your minimum maximum threshold, see where we're supposed to go to, and push it back out to the marketplace. We have strategies built specifically for Walmart. Walmart's internal repricer only reprices against the buy box owner or an external price on Amazon or something like that. Other repricers also get the same data as Walmart's repricer does. It's all coming from their API. Most of it's wrong, but at least they're getting that. But they only get that buy box owner change. They don't get their fulfillment method. So on Flashpricer, we can reprice against, specifically on Walmart, buy box owner, lowest price on the listing, which other repricers don't get, specific sellers by name, buy box suppressed situations, inclusions of specific sellers by name, fulfillment method, and a whole slew of other things. So like just a whole bunch of data that also other repricers don't have, but then if they had it, then it would be incorrect. So it's marketplace specific repricing, and it gets very granular with regards to the type of rules that you could set up. And we put all the power in your hands to do so. Proprietary data handling. So like I said, we don't just take Walmart's word for it when they send us the information. We say, no, probably that's wrong. And we go out and we fetch the information programmatically, and we scrub that data, and we'll actually display within the software here, Walmart's API returned that the buy box is at $50.45. And we display that in the thing, but the actual buy box is at $45. And if you were repricing against the $50 number, then you're never going to make a sale, or and then the market's actually lower than you are right now. So we go out and get the correct information and then proactively get competitor information, right? So we said, not only do they send wrong information, but they also miss sending information. Amazon's internal repricer, same, all other repricers on the market, they're missing about 60% of the information. So there are price changes going on. They don't send the webhook call, which is basically a push call to us that they're supposed to send to us. And so what do we do in those cases? We go through your entire catalog and we'll look at all sellers on the listing, and we check how often they're changing their prices. If these other sellers on the listing are changing their prices frequently, they go into a high competition status within our software, and those products are being checked proactively on an ongoing basis. Let's call it in the highest competition status. It'll be 5 to 15 minutes apart from when we get a call from them. So like if we get a call, then it breaks the whole process and we start over again. Low competition settings. Basically, your other sellers on your listing not making any price changes. We notice that they make maybe one price change a day and we know who that person is. Low competition settings. So then if we don't get the calls, we'll maybe check every 6 hours or every 12 hours. So we prioritize listings that have competitors on them that are very active with their pricing in order to compensate for missing data out of their APIs. And it's true multi-channel repricing through Flashpricer. Other repricers on the market are doing one of two things. They're either using just the API data and throwing up their hands when you tell them this information's all wrong and things have changed or whatever. Like we can't do anything because that's what we got. Or they're doing marketplace syncing, which means they're taking your Amazon price and they're saying add $1 and push that to Walmart, or subtract $1 and push that to Walmart. That doesn't work. We know that. And again, you're going to be missing out on a lot of opportunity because some things sell for higher in this marketplace than they do on that marketplace, and vice versa. So it makes no sense. Again, different marketplaces, different prices. All right, so where does this all take us? So we're going to keep pushing. Diversification is key and critical to mitigate your risk. I see a large majority of you guys already know that. I saw that by the show of hands on who's already diversified. Please tell your friends if you care about them. Since you guys are a good group of people, I could see it. I'm meeting you. Tell all your friends. It's time to diversify. This is an opportunity. It's a good opportunity. We're seeing really steady growth. Tell them diversification is key and do it now before you're in a, God forbid, a bad position. It's I think you can do 20 to 30% increase in sales on the marketplace. The gross potential is large, and I think we're still in the very early innings. There are technical barriers, which we talked about, but that's to your guys' advantage. If you know about specific tools like Flashpricer that can help you overcome those technical challenges, it'll really put you ahead of the competition, really, right? Like you're armed with something that can bring you to the next level on this marketplace, even if you're not seeing the growth that you want right now, or, maybe you haven't focused on it too much and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure that the opportunity is there. I'm telling you it's there. So go get it, and go get it with the right tools. I'll share just one anecdote, and it's like a specific seller that I met at. So we did about a year of research and development with my own stores and family and friends stores on the software. And then we launched to the public at Prosper Show 2022. Yeah, 22. Launched in 23. We sold some software there, a lot of it. And because people are just like, oh, nobody has a Walmart repricer. We're looking for it. And there's very sophisticated sellers there, and they all know I need a repricer. I have a repricer. We're making a ton of money on Amazon. I'm not seeing the sales. I'm going to try it. Tried it. Spoke to this guy, onboarded him, whatever. Saw him at a show, ASGTG in Brooklyn. About a year later, he came over to us. I was like, how's everything going? We have a few clients by then, so like I don't know exactly what's going on with everybody's store. And he goes, going great. I was doing 10% of the sales that I was doing on Amazon a year ago when you met me. Installed Flashpricer, did nothing different besides for set up a simple strategy, and now I'm doing 20 to 30% of my sales on Amazon. Thank you. I was like, can you tell other people about Flashpricer for me? Can I get a quote? He said, no. I said, why? He's like, I don't want anybody else to sell as much as I do. I was like, well, great then. Thanks. I'll have to do my own marketing. Thanks for all the help, and good luck with all the rest of your selling. We're still friends, though. He sends me messages all the time, and he asks me for upgrades to the system and stuff like that. It's really nice to hear feedback from all of our sellers, and we do take that into consideration. I move pretty fast with regards to building software. Again, I've been doing it for a really long time. We try to add functionality pretty fast and frequently. We're also based out of the US here. Not a lot of the other repricers are. You'll get customer service from either myself, Matt, Gabe, who's at the show as well. We have a few other people sitting around the US and a bunch of developers here ready and willing to help you. How do you begin using Flashpricer? It's really, really simple. I could probably get you set up in like 10 minutes or less if you did it yourself and you had any idea what you're doing, maybe 30 minutes or less. Or if you wanted to get on a call with myself or Gabe, we'll get you set up in under an hour. We'll pull your costs in from any of the other tools that you're using right now. We accept costs to build your minimum and maximum selling thresholds if you'd like within our system, or you could push minimum and maximums through an FTP, a CSV on FTP, CSV hosted file, Dropbox, GDocs, or any other way. And I'm more than happy to include integrations into any other softwares and tools that you guys are using. Just ask them to talk to me and I'll get it done. We have a 14-day free trial always, and we have 50% off your first 2 months with Flashpricer. The code is proven50. I urge you to take a picture of that and definitely come try us out, see what we could do for you. We just actually opened up a starter plan on the Walmart side. We didn't have one for the past year and a half, but I thought that maybe there might be some intro sellers here that don't need like hundreds of listings. So we opened an intro plan at $89 for Walmart monthly. And again, 50% off your first 2 months on top of that plan, just to get your feet wet, learn the system, and get started with us. And we really look forward to having you on board. I'll end off with just a quick quote. So that I liked. Matt put it up on our social media the other day, and I've been saying it since then. So yeah, the first rule of any technology used in a business is that automation applied to an efficient operation, which I'm sure you guys all have, will magnify the efficiency. And we really believe that to be true. We aim to build really efficient and really the best-in-class software for our clients. We're always available and willing to get on calls with you. Just send an email in and we'll get on a Zoom. We'll talk through any issues you may have, any requests and features and stuff like that. And if it makes sense, we'll absolutely prioritize working on them for you. And I really hope you guys leverage our experienced selling team and customer service and success to help you grow your businesses and help you on your journey. So that's what I've got, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, I'll take any questions. Yeah, and if I can't get to, well, we actually have some time, but if we don't get to somebody's question here, we have a booth. Like I said, there's 3 of us there and we're ready, willing. I got one behind you and then I got you. Sourcing products for Walmart specifically. Yeah, so again, softwares are a little bit behind from the Walmart perspective, but I do know that one of the other sponsors here, Nepetto, has Amazon to Walmart sourcing. So like they're finding opportunities between things that are selling on Amazon so that you could sell it on Walmart for profitability after WFS fees and stuff like that. I urge you to check that out. I've been inside that tool. It's pretty nice. That's the best one that I think I could think of for Walmart. They're starting to do that on Walmart a little bit. It's mostly with Walmart themselves as a seller, meaning Walmart might have the buy box in California and might not have it in New Jersey, for example. Less so with third-party sellers so far is what we're seeing. Amazon, that's become sort of thing to tackle with regards to like the API information, because they're only returning on the Amazon side, they're only returning one buy box owner, not regional buy box owners like this. So yeah, that's a technical challenge that probably the other Amazon focused repricers should be looking into. I don't think they are. On the Walmart side, it's not really too big of a deal yet, but we'll be able to solve for that eventually. And then you'll be able to set some strategies that says like, okay, I want to hold the buy box everywhere, or I want to hold it only in specific places, or like get me an average, try to target this average price, right? Right. So I know like Jim talks about like above buy box strategies and stuff like that. And like maybe, you don't need to hold 100% of the buy boxes in all the regions. Maybe you're looking for like 80% penetration. By being like a few cents above, we can still get that 80% depending on the region that you're in. You can and you will. Yeah. Yes. And share is from a perspective of different regions, actually. And like actually a strategy that I've been sharing with some of the sellers who reach out to me about this specifically is you can likely exclude Walmart as a seller, which means when they're on the listing, you're excluding them and then you're going to compete with the next lowest seller. Again, they're holding buy boxes regionally, like in certain areas where they don't really have their products in their fulfillment centers. The stuff that they have, they're taking out of the stores and stuff like that, right? And so you could exclude them and you could still be making sales in other regions. I think instead of like competing with them, or like you could compete with them, you'll probably just end up at your minimum selling threshold, which you should be happy selling at anyway. But you could probably realize higher profit potential by selling, just like excluding them completely and just competing with the next closest seller. Yeah, sure. It starts at $89 a month. You get, and then it's based off of like listings mostly. So you'll get 25 Walmart listings on that starter plan and 10,000 Amazon listings. The discrepancy is because it's very, very expensive to do the Walmart, data appends, basically. Just Walmart is $89 per month on the starter plan. But that's for below 25 listings. Above 25 listings, between 25 listings and 2,500 listings, it's $199 a month, but that comes with Walmart and Amazon. So you could factor about $99 a month, $99.50 a month per channel. Or you could do 2 Walmart channels on that or 2 Amazon channels on that. Yeah. And then it goes up from there. So 3 channels would be it jumps to 5 channels, like $359 a month. Doesn't matter which channels they are. They're almost all full feature set. So like we don't restrict by that. We don't restrict by events per minute. We're just as fast as we could possibly go. We spend money on servers and stuff like that to like move as fast as we can. So the Amazon side, there's no real tricks except for the fact that now there's regional, there's a lot of regional buy box stuff going on. And we haven't started tackling the data appends on the Amazon side. But I think that's going to be our differentiator on the Amazon side as well. Like we do Amazon just as well as anybody else does at this point. Just, some people have longer sort of runs in the e-commerce SaaS space for Amazon. Like some of these guys that I was competing with when I was at Informed, 12 years ago or 13 years ago, they started up 2 years after I started at Informed. And I'm like 10 years behind them in terms of time on the ground with my repricer. So they might have some fancier like dashboards or, like certain strategy settings or stuff like that, certain sellers might like or need, or professional sellers. But in terms of the data they're getting from it, there's no real, magic trick like there is on Walmart side yet. At least nobody else is doing anything outside of the actual API. I think once I'm ready to like back off of Walmart a little bit from like the perspective of, okay, our feature set is mature and sellers are sort of like have all the tools and the majority of the feature requests that they've requested have already been implemented and now they're out there and now I'm just maintenance mode. I'll probably switch gears and go back to the Amazon space and start appending data over there for like regional buy boxes stuff. And, that'll be a real big differentiator. No, that's on all the plans. Yep. Thank you. So we will take into consideration the fees, right? But if your minimum and maximum thresholds are outside of that, like that basic cusp that you would have to change over, we'll allow you to, cross through, right? And presumably you might make less at a higher number or whatever it may be, right? So for now, that's sort of on the client to be knowledgeable on that front. I know on like the Walmart side, if you drop below $10, then they tack on an additional $1 and they reduce the fee, whatever it may be. We take all of that into consideration. Again, something else that no other Walmart repricers are doing. We're like actually taking into consideration WFS fees and referral fees and all the rest into the software. We are building it into your minimum and maximum selling thresholds, like if you have a calculated min-max. But so now I see my clients saying, okay, so my minimum price threshold on this WFS item, if it's anywhere in the range of like, I could have gone to 8, they're setting it at 10 so that I don't cross through that threshold. So that they maintain, you get what I'm saying? So they're just like kind of knowledgeable on these cusps, and they're like, okay, cool. If you do an export out of our system, you could see all, filter for all the products that are within that range or can come close to it and be like, okay, cool. Can I set my maximum price like just below that? Or can I set my minimum price just above that? Yeah. So what would you want to see? An alert that says if you cross through. So just like displays and like filters within the software that would like tell you, okay, these are approaching different thresholds sort of thing. And like automatic, I think just like from built for the masses type of thing, like I can't say, okay, don't go there. Just because maybe if you do go there, then you're selling 4 times as much as you were before. And so maybe that's the seller's goal, is to do that. But I definitely do think exactly like somehow to display that and be able to filter for things that are within this sort of threshold and just be like, okay, pay close attention to this stuff. We pull all the listings down into our system. Yeah, it doesn't matter if there's no UPC attached to it. We'll get anything with a SKU. A SKU, it does get an item ID. There is a caveat to that. Even Walmart within their system won't give you the actual WFS fee until you actually sell that product. And then you have to do like a reconciliation report. It's like a 2-week reconciliation report. And on that report, then you could get the actual fee for that product. So it is it's a little bit of an estimation, assuming that all the information that's on the listing is correct. So like if it says it's £1 and it's actually £1, and it says it's between this and this size, then we do an estimation based off of that until it gets sold. And then afterwards we'll go in and the actuals. And they do a weighted average on that one. They keep asking for it. And that's why when I can't just send an API call and say, what's the fee for this product? They make me guess until after it's sold. Here's another example. I don't know, again, you guys are selling on their CAP program. CAP program is really cool because it's commission adjustment program. They might, sometimes they're decreasing the price of the listing like $30, $40 and paying us out on that, which is amazing. But to me in the system, even on the order, it looks like a loss of dollars, right? I paid more than I got. And then after you ship the item, then the transaction, you could look up the transaction in the transaction reports. In that transaction report, it'll say commission adjustment program, $40, or Walmart funded savings, $20 with a commission adjustment of $10. So bear with them, but look at those commission adjustments. Like when you think it's a loss and you're looking at that item, really try to squeeze out. You could push price changes through our software really quickly. You're like, okay, cool. And it shows up in our software in a specific way. So like a lot of times an easy way to identify within our software is we'll show that we're pushing the minimum price, the minimum selling threshold, and we're selling for like $20 below, but we have like a pending price change into Walmart, and like in our system, it looks like we continue pushing that. And then we're seeing somebody come to us and be like, oh, we have a sale, $20 below this, like whatever. What's going on here? I was like, oh, definitely it's involved in the CAP program. It's in the tool. It actually says it's involved in the CAP program, but you can't really be sure until you ship it. Then they come back and ship it and whatever. Okay, cool. So now they know that item's part of the CAP program and it's active right now and they're going for it. I told people to test upwards price changes on that thing because sometimes you can eke out another $10, $15 before they actually remove you from the buy box. And a good way to here's like a little nug, a good way to figure out that that's actually going on is like if everybody, maybe there's like 10 sellers on the listing and like four to 6 of them are at like $34.59. Like that's just weird. That sounds weird. And then you go and you push the price change through Flashpricer and nothing changes on the listing. Like you continue to reprice it upwards, right? It's at $43.59 and you're pushing $59.99 and they still leave $43.59, right? If you continue to push through Flashpricer like 55 and it's $43.59, then you know it's CAP. So then continue testing the upside. Like get to the dollar and the cent that is actually the highest possibly you could be, but they're actually displaying you for a lot less and they're going to pay you out on the highest number possible. So that's been going on there, but I haven't seen it with these types of swings. No, because they're actually going into their pockets and losing on it. They're taking marketing dollars and spending it on that. It's not just we'll take off the 15%. It's 15% plus like $20-$30 on like a $100 item. Like 100. I'm like, whoa. Like we have plans to work in some optimization so that we'll try to test the upper boundaries on that. Like when we notice it's going on, we haven't gotten to it just yet, but yeah, I mean, like if you notice it's going on, you could just like push price changes within the system. Be like, okay, cool, I'm good here. And you'll see 1 penny more, it'll take you out of that. It'll go to that actual number. You go 1 penny less, it'll take you back into the program. You'll be in the buy box at that low number. So some brand new accounts don't have the option to enroll right away. They give it to you pretty quickly if you continue working on the business selling. And then it's just like a one-time push. You just have to like press a button that says enroll it. And then you can do an upload into Seller Center to like unenroll products from it. But otherwise, by default, not every product is involved in the CAP program. But you can set like globally at the account level that if they allow for the CAP program on that product, it should be enrolled in it by default. There is a reason to have a repricer, not my repricer just yet, and not any other repricers on the market. We are developing private label repricing algos. And what those will do is look at like historical sales history, do some data mining and some aggregation. And then you'll also be able to select external ASINs or item IDs to be able to take into consideration and reprice either based off of those external IDs or based off of just like historical sales data. So yeah, when we come out with that, then there would be a reason, right? Because in those items, it requires some testing as well. Just because you're selling it for less doesn't mean you're gonna sell more pieces. And if you sell for more, you might sell more profitability, and you might actually sell more pieces, right? And so, yeah, testing pricing is always a thing. You might not have to make as many price changes. You might want to test for multiple days at a time, or different times of the day might dictate different things. And that's just, a process of like aggregating all the data and looking on a look back period and testing new things and then continuing to iterate on it. All right. Oh, we're out of time. Wow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.